What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Z Sports and Entertainment. I am Z, coming to you from the basement. It's been a while. Had some stuff going on. Wanted to wait till the preseason was over. Just a lot going on right now. But we're gonna get back into it this week. College football kicked off this weekend. Got the NFL kicking off this upcoming weekend. I'm excited. I'm excited for everything that's going on in the sports world. Baseball regular season is coming to an end. We pushing into the playoffs. It's a lot going on. So that means we got a lot to talk about. Some trades going down in the NBA. We WNBA playoffs. It's a lot going on. Like I said, which means it's gonna be a lot for us to talk about. But we gonna get into it today. Right now we got the AFC West. That's what we talking about today. The AFC West. We going This week we're gonna cover all of the AFC divisions. We're gonna conclude this week with an NFC predictions video based on the breakdowns we did by division of the NFC, and we're gonna do the same thing for the AFC. Um, we got a content filled week this week, man. So let's get started. AFC West. We're gonna pop it off with the Denver Broncos. Um, Denver Broncos had an action packed offseason. They had a lot going on. New owner, new quarterback, just a lot of new everything. I mean, you got the richest owner in football, which means you can probably afford any player you want. Plus, you bring in Russell Wilson, you get rid of Drew Lock and Noah Fant. You that's I mean, when you think about it, in the last 25, 30 years, he's probably the third Pro Bowl caliber quarterback they've had. Maybe four if you include Jay Cutler. I mean, running back position, they look good with Melvin Ingram and Javonte Williams. Receiving core looks nice. Hopefully, Russell Wilson is what you need to bring out everything that we saw from Jerry Jeudy at Alabama. Cortland Sutton has proved with lower tier level quarterbacks that he can put up 1,000 yards. You got KJ Hamler, who's a speedster who can create things. It sucks that Tim Patrick got hurt. Unfortunately, he's gonna be out for the entire season. And I cannot pronounce the starting tight end name, but number 85, he's a big target. He was behind Noah Fant, but he's going to be productive moving into that role, that starting role. I mean, I'm looking forward to watching the Denver Broncos offense this offseason. This season, and just seeing what they can do. I mean, everybody knows that this division is tough. This division is hell. Like it seems like every top player that was available and moved around went to the AFC West. It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm curious to see what the Broncos offense can do. On paper, it looks like they could do big things and like they could be towards the top of the league. But can Russell Wilson put it together? Can Nathaniel Hackett coming in from Green Bay? I mean, going from Aaron Rodgers to Russell Wilson, you one lucky dude, man. Your first head coaching job is in Denver, where like I said, new owner, money. I mean, wow. Move over to the defense a little bit. I'm expecting a huge season from Bradley Chubb. No Von Miller for the entire season. You bring in Randy Gregory to pair on the other side. You have pieces on that defense that stand out and guys who can make plays, especially in the secondary with Justin Simmons and Patrick Surtain II. I mean, I'm looking forward to the Denver Broncos this year. I mean, this isn't like the last couple of years with Teddy Bridgewater or what was his name, Trevor Siemian, or even Brock Osweiler. I mean, this is a different era of Denver Bronco football that I feel like we're moving into, and I think they're going to be good. I think the Broncos are going to be a tough team to beat. I think they're going to be a hell of a team this year. That's really all I got, man. I mean, it's go time at this point. I mean, it's go time. Really, it is. My prediction for the season for the Denver Broncos, I have the Denver Broncos finishing 10-7. 10-7. Will that be enough for them to make the wild card? Will that be enough for them to win the division? We'll find out in this video and later on this week. But for the Denver Broncos, going 10-7, first year owner, first year head coach, first year quarterback, it just looks like things are pointing in the right direction. It does, and it seems like Russell is genuinely happy to be there, and that's great. That is a good thing. We're gonna transition. We're gonna move to Los Angeles. Talk about these Chargers. Chargers had a pretty good offseason. Disappointed into the season last year, last game of the season against the Raiders. Had a chance to make the playoffs, but, Brandon Staley and the whole fourth down overtime situation, it was talked about a lot this offseason. So, I mean, and they're one of the hot teams coming into the season. When I say hot, I mean a lot of people have them favored to win the division. A lot of teams have them favored to possibly represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. Can Brandon Staley not necessarily redeem himself from how last season ended, but can he bounce back? Can he truly say that was last year, mistakes were made, things happened, didn't fall our way, it's time to move on? That's a lot harder, said than done. I do think it still lingers, but when you do what they did this offseason, bring in the pieces they brought in, they had a pretty good draft as well. I mean, the Los Angeles Chargers are looking very good, very good. And I mean, Justin Herbert, this seems to be the year that everyone thinks he's gonna take that elite, leap, and put himself in the top 5, top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL. He damn sure has the talent to do it. So I mean, I don't see why not. Austin Eckler, workhorse out of the backfield, catching the ball out of the backfield. I mean, we know about Keenan Allen. We know about Mike Wallace. Keep hearing about Jesse Palmer possibly turning into kind of like a Taj Boyd and them being like a trio. Saw flashes last year, but I think he'll be good within that offense. I just think he'll be good within that offense. I mean, Justin Herbert's going to spread the football around. He's going to throw that thing 35, 40, 45 times a game. And he has big targets who he can give a chance to go. I mean, even with Gerald Everett at tight end, he's an athletic playmaker who can spread the field. They got mismatches all over the offense. They do. And with Rashawn Slater at left tackle, I mean, they got Court. They got a good old line as well, man. So I mean, it's tough. It's tough. They playing in SoFi. You got the stadium. You got the team. Then with what you brought in on defense, you already had Bosa, Jesus Christ. You already had Bosa, Derwin James, Sante Samuel Jr., Kenneth Murray, who hasn't really been talked about. He was a first-round pick out of Oklahoma a couple years ago. And now you bring in Khalil Mack to pair with Bosa. You bring in Kyle Van Noy to shore up that linebacking core. And then you bring in J.C. Jackson to pair with Asante Samuel. I mean, the Chargers look good. This is the best the Chargers have looked like. Phillip Rivers, LaDainian Tomlinson, Vincent Jackson, Antonio Gates, Antonio Cromartie, Sean Merriman. You know what I'm saying? Like, they look good. They look real good. And it's hard to go against what everybody's saying as far as them finishing where they could possibly finish. I mean, from a record standpoint, I got the Chargers at 11-6. One win above the Broncos, so as of right now, they're the division winner. As of right now. But it's not really too much to say about the Chargers. Looking at them on paper, they look like a top team in the league. It's just a matter of can they put it together? Can it wins, man. Wins. Can't talk about that enough. Gotta win football games. especially the close ones, the overtime games, the last possession games. You gotta win those games. They can just do so much offensively and defense. They could do a lot. They could go 4-3. They could go 3-4. They could go 4-6. They could go 5-3. They could do so many different things on the defensive side of the ball, especially with Derwin James being like that. He's gonna be all over the field. He's gonna be the ball hog deep. He's gonna drop down in the box. He's gonna be covering tight ends. He's gonna be doing a lot for that defense, and I just really like what the Chargers have done. I really like the position they put themselves in. Tom Telesco has done a hell of a job in the front office. It's just time to go. Just time to go. Chargers 11-6. We're gonna move over to the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, not really too much to say about Pat Mahomes. I mean, Pat Mahomes is Pat Mahomes, and I feel like we know what we're going to get from Pat Mahomes at this point. Hopefully for the Chiefs, you know, they can get some big things from Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I probably said that wrong, but if I didn't, oh, man, whatever. 2-5 coming out the backfield. They need a big season from him. They need a big year from him. Losing, I mean, of course, everybody knows losing Tyreek Hill and just watching what they've done to try to, you know, replace him somewhat. You go out and get Juju. You go out and get Marquez Valdez-Scantling from Green Bay. You got Nico Hardman. You don't have Demarcus Robinson anymore. You still got Pringle. Of course, you still got Travis Kelce. But, I mean, how different is this offense going to look without Tyreek Hill? A lot of people were under the assumption that they were just going to plug and play as far as, you know, from a speed perspective. Like, Valdez-Scantling got some wheels. Nico Hardman has some wheels. I feel like a lot of people just thought that they were going to plug and play those two guys where Tyreek Hill was. And I, from what I'm hearing coming out of camp and watching in the preseason, that's not the case. Those guys have specific assignments, and filling the void of Tyreek Hill is going to have to come in a multitude of ways. I mean, Tyreek Hill isn't just somebody you can just replace by just saying, oh, you go get there. Nah, Tyreek Hill was someone who you could genuinely throw the ball as far as you could throw it and just allow Tyreek down there somewhere. Like, I mean, that's the type of player he was. I mean, will that offense have the same type of production? Will we see, like, we're going to see what Pat Mahomes is truly made of. Like, and I'm not saying that he's not capable of doing it without Tyreek Hill, but, like, I'm curious to see him play football without having that guy. I mean, without Tyreek Hill, drives are going to be extended. His yards after catch production was ridiculous. You ain't going to have that guy catching it and getting you 15 to 20 yards after catch. The drives are going to be extended. Drives are going to be longer. You're not going to have those 4 or 5 play drives anymore. It's going to be more 9, 10, 11 play drives now. Andy Reid and Eric Bellamy are going to have to go in their bag. They're going to have to go a little deeper in that bag. I mean, and on the flip side, if the offense isn't as good as it's been in the past, how is that going to affect the defense? Because the offense has kind of kept the defense afloat in Kansas City the last couple of years. That defense is giving up a lot of points. That defense is giving up a lot of yards. I mean, you still got Chris Jones. You still got Frank Clark. They got a guy, I think it's Nick Bolton, who is on the verge of becoming one of the best young linebackers in the game. I mean, you lose Tyrann Mathieu, but you sign Justin Reed from the Texans. Thornhill is bound to have a huge season. You got young corners. You got young corners in Kansas City. So it's going with Russell Wilson, Justin Herbert, and Derek Carr. They're gonna be taking some chances on that Kansas City defense. Kansas City is gonna have to find a way to create pressure, and they're gonna have to find a way to stop the run. Because although the running backs in this division aren't top tier, Josh Jacobs, Austin Eckler, Melvin Gordon, and Javonte Davis are no slouches. And just looking, Kansas City could very well have the worst defense in this division. That's saying a lot, man, because their defense isn't terrible. This is going to be a hell of a season for the AFC West. How good will the Chiefs be? To be honest, this team has the biggest question mark in the divisions for me. And it's bigger than them just losing Tyreek Hill. They lost more than Tyreek Hill. My prediction for the Chiefs, I got the Chiefs going 10-7. That's what I got. Looking at their record, looking at when they play teams at certain times of the year, I got the Chiefs going 10-7. I think they're going to be a little more vulnerable this year. I think they're going to be a little more exposed. And I think defenses are going to I don't think defenses are going to lose as much sleep as they have in the past, knowing that they ain't got to watch 10 no more. That's just my opinion. Kansas City Chiefs, 10-7. So we got Chargers 11-6. We got Broncos 10-7. We got Chiefs 10-7. Last but not least, in the AFC West, Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, it looks like they're finally out of that John Gruden funk, and I hate to say it like that because I was truly a believer. I was someone who thought John Gruden, when he got the job, I think it was then Oakland, and he was gonna turn it around. Like they signed him a 10-year, $100 million contract. I think it just looked like they had a plan and they were ready to execute that plan, but that plan failed with the Henry Ruggs situation, with the John Gruden emails, with the first round cornerback, with the guns on social. It was a lot to deal with in Las Vegas, and that was one of the knocks about them possibly moving the team to Vegas. Like, are these guys going to be able to stay focused and keep their head on their shoulders right so that they can play football, be productive, produce? I'm sorry, y'all. My hair is really bothering me right now. I really need to wash it. But we're going to get through this video. Josh McDaniels, congratulations. 2 new head coaches in this division, him and Nathaniel Hackett up in Denver. I really thought that they were going to give the interim guy a chance. Seems like after Gruden was out and they put him in, that team responded very well to him. I think he ended up in Green Bay as a special teams coordinator, if I'm not mistaken. But Josh McDaniels, Patriots pedigree under Bill Belichick, new stadium, great facilities. You got your quarterback. I mean, I'm looking forward to watching the Raiders play. I've been a fan of Derek Carr since Fresno State. I knew about Devontae Adams at Fresno State, but I watched Fresno State because of Derek Carr. Josh Jacobs, a lot of people are saying that he's on the hot seat from a RB1 perspective. I don't necessarily agree with that. I'm someone who truly believes that Josh Jacobs is a stud, and given 20 to 25 touches a game, I think he could win you some football games, genuinely. Now, I feel like having Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, and Darren Waller are going to make him extremely, extremely more valuable to that offense. I mean, the way I look at it is this. There are 11 defenders on the field. You got Devontae, you got Hunter, and you got Darren. All 3 of those guys in which are capable of being doubled. That's 6 defenders that are occupying 3 players. Okay? Which leaves 5 defenders. You're not going to have any 5. You're not going to have your linemen guarding any of those 3 guys. and you're not going to have your top pass rusher guarding any of those three guys. So that means you have 5 defenders left for the 5 offensive linemen, which means there is a chance that Josh Jacobs could be running free a lot. That was probably a bad example, and I really hope a lot of y'all understood that, but I'm just saying. A lot of misdirect. He's got to work hand in hand with Brady for years. I mean, it didn't work in Denver, okay, but they didn't have this team in Denver. They didn't have this much talent, this much potential, this much upside. They didn't have this in Denver when he was the coach in Denver. I'm excited. They got a good old line. Derek Carr is a very underrated quarterback. They just have a very underrated, outside of truly Devontae Adams, that entire offense is underrated. Team and period. Like, even transitioning to the defensive side of the ball, people forget about Max Crosby. People forget about Chandler Jones. People forget about these guys. Like, they got Denzel Perryman, who's a nice linebacker up the middle. They got 2 good hard-hitting safeties in Jonathan Abrams and 2-5. I can't think of his name. Trayvon Mullins isn't a bad cornerback. I mean, they have pieces. They have pieces, but like this offense, this particular offense, I feel. I think this could be the offense, man. Like this offense could be the offense, in my opinion. That they're gonna be a problem. They're just gonna be a problem. I mean, you got a 5,000 yard capable quarterback, 2,000 yard, 1,000 yard capable receivers, 1,000 yard capable tight end, 2 10+ sack capable pass rushers. I don't see what this team doesn't have to compete. I don't. You got 3 guys on the offensive side of the football who are capable of catching 100+ balls. If Josh McDaniel can't win with this team, with this roster, with this talent, I know you're going up against the Chargers, Chiefs, and Broncos. I get it. But, man, the Raiders are in perfect and prime position where they can execute and just focus on football. They got a great chance at doing some great things. My prediction for the Las Vegas Raiders this year, 11-6. That's my prediction for the Las Vegas Raiders. So I got the Raiders and Chargers both finishing 11-6. I got the Broncos and Chiefs both finishing 10-7. That's what I got for the NFC West. My bad. Come on, Z. That's what I got for the AFC West. You guys will figure out of the Chargers and Raiders who I have winning the division in the AFC video later this week. You'll also see who made the wild card between the Broncos and Chiefs, if not both, later this week. I appreciate you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the rest of the week. It's going to be a great week. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, and share to Z Sports and Entertainment. I appreciate you guys for watching, man. Z